Well, Houston Rockets. Where do we begin? Let's start with the end. The Houston Rockets did advance to the Western Conference semifinals this past year after a very close 7-game series with the Thunder. A late block by James Harden on Lou Dort helped seal their victory as they did advance to play the LA Lakers in the next round. And after a very impressive Game 1, the Rockets beat the Lakers convincingly to go up 1-0 and started talks of a possible upset. Talks were that the Rockets could be changing the landscape of the NBA. Teams may be looking to do small ball with no bigs and just completely phasing the big men out of rotations. PJ Tucker did receive a lot of credit for his play at center against LA's bigs, but as we all know, the hype was very short-lived, I should say, as the Lakers won 4 straight games and basically took the fight out of the Houston Rockets. And that's another reason why you shouldn't judge any series after Game 1, bro. Please stop that. But I give credit to PJ Tucker for battling all series, and really I give credit to the whole Rockets lineup for adapting as best as possible. But as we know, they did get bounced out, which now has caused a lot of questions to surround this team going forward. Let's just start with coaching. Now, according to multiple reports, Mike D'Antoni informed the team that he is not returning as the head coach, as he is going to be a free agent. Now listen, coaches can be a free agent too. Let that man, live his free agency dream. No, I'm playing. But this started to spark questions over the direction of the Rockets. Now, normally a new coach means a new system, but the belief is that GM Daryl Morey was the one that pushed for the small ball lineup and not D'Antoni. So will Morey look for a coach that keeps the lineup intact, or allow the new coach to make lineup decisions based off of their coaching style? This is essentially the building block that will dictate the moves they make this offseason. Now, another question is, should the Rockets give the not-so-dynamic duo of the Brody and the Beard another chance to run it back? Or should they perhaps shop Westbrook and see what his value is in the market? Now, I think personally the problem is that we see teams giving up on players, not just players, but superstar players after one season. Now, sure, they didn't win a championship yet. We know. But the players themselves, I feel like, all adapted to transform their games to match the system change that happened midway through the season. Especially, after that Clint Capella trade, that's a lot to ask a team midway through the season to transform the lineup and go completely small against teams that are big. But with a new coach and potentially new system, you might at least try to run it back with the duo for at least one more season and see what additional pieces you could surround them with. Like, I don't know, maybe a good player that's above the height of 6'9"? I mean, I'm just saying. And with the free agency class not being elite this year, a lot of focus has been on potential trading scenarios. For the Rockets, a lot of people have mentioned the young center from the Orlando Magic. Well, I don't know how young he is anymore, but Nikola Vucevic as a potential great piece at center to help propel them to, I guess, the next level. Somewhat athletic, can shoot the three, great mid-range game, and has one of the best post games I've seen in the NBA. And is also a solid defender. Now, the only thing is that we don't know what Daryl Morey, the Rockets GM, if you didn't know, has or will draw up this coming offseason, as he has been known to go off kilter. We see how that's worked out, though. I want to talk about James Harden for a second. Arguably the best scorer of the NBA over the last 5 seasons, a great passer, and an improved defender. People don't want to give him credit for his defense. The memes got to stop. He is playing great defense recently, and he's been stepping up when it counts. But he has recently turned 31 years old and is entering his 12th season. Like, can y'all believe that this dude, these guys have been in the league so long? I feel like, man, they just got drafted by the Thunder, man, but he is in his 12th season. And his championship window is closing. It is definitely not getting any wider. At least not as the main option. Now, this is a guy that a lot of people have criticized starting back in the 2012 NBA Finals when he was a 6th man with the Thunder versus the Miami Heat, you guys all remember. And a lot of people said he disappeared, and started to create that trend of Harden not showing up in the biggest playoff moments. Fast forward to now 8 years later, and while he has racked up an MVP, 3 MVP runner-ups, there's still a question of, can he lead a team to a championship? At least as the main option? Now, I believe his last best shots to win a championship will be in the next 2 to 3 seasons. That sounds like kind of generic to say, but essentially something tells me that Daryl Morey will finesse a trade and add a necessary piece this offseason. And with the layout of the league, it seems like the teams with the most chemistry have made it the furthest. Look at the Lakers, Celtics, Nuggets, and Heat. They all seem to gel on the court and genuinely have a feel for the system. I ain't gonna lie, the Celtics kind of on life support right now, but that's another story for another day. So does Houston want to trade Westbrook and bring in even more new players again and a new coach as well? Or do they want to add that one piece, quote unquote, that Harden was talking about they need, and try to just run it back with the duo again. In addition, will the new coach be able to have any input on the moves made this offseason, or will they be expected to make do with whatever roster Daryl Morey puts in front of them? Notice I said them and not him, because there also has apparently been reports about Spurs assistant and former WNBA star Becky Hammon as a potential coaching candidate as well. Now, I can't even imagine any first-year head coach having to coach up Russ and James Harden at a time like this, much less a female head coach. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. And last but not least, I do want to talk about the Brody Russell Westbrook man. Now, this has been one of my favorite players since he came into the league roughly about 12 years ago. And he's just gotten a lot of flack for his style of play, whether it's too aggressive, too wild, not controlled. He doesn't pass enough. He takes too many shots. He's not shooting well enough. Whatever you want to say about this man, one thing you can't say about him or can't knock him for is his competitive spirit and the fact that he's going to lay it all out there on the floor when he plays for you. And he's a guy that you want to play with, I feel like you look at his teammates, you look at the players he's played with, you don't really see them have any negative thoughts to say about Westbrook. KD's the only player that decided to leave out because he felt like he had a better opportunity with Golden State, which was true. You can't listen. Just because he felt like he had a better chance to win with Golden State, you can't just say Westbrook is just a bad player or a bad player to play. KD is a great superstar, generational talent. He doesn't have time to waste, and he realized that. Now, that brings up the question, does James Harden feel like that? Now, after one season, does he feel like, listen, I don't know if, just like he kind of did with Chris Paul, does he feel like he can make it work with Russell Westbrook just because they're best friends? Or does he feel like they need to make a move this offseason if he wants to stay in Houston? Now, both of their contracts are pretty locked in over the next few years, so they would have to make a trade happen, as neither one of them can walk away in free agency soon, which I guess is technically good news for the Rockets, as they don't have to fear the thought of losing out on the trade value of Westbrook or Harden, just losing them to free agency. But at the same time, their contracts is so enormous, if you do decide to trade one of them, if not dramatically both of them, you would have to get a team that's looking to basically win now. And I mean, you could say there's a lot of teams out there that are willing to do so. Now, what team could you even see in a trading scenario that will pick up a guy like Westbrook at this time? What teams are like one piece away, other than Houston, and feel like they could use a Russell Westbrook type player to take them over the edge and have the pieces to give up and the money to give up to go ahead and trade for him? That's a huge question. That's a question that teams got to ask themselves, because Russell Westbrook could potentially be on the trade market this offseason. He might be already on there now. You never know. And with the new coach coming in, there's just no guarantee of how the system will be run, especially with Daryl Morey at GM. And he himself might be on the hot seat this offseason if he doesn't get the team together. So you guys let me know what you think the Houston Rockets are going to do this upcoming offseason and going forward. Are they going to trade Russell Westbrook? Could they potentially trade Russell and James Harden away and just forget just blow everything up? Comment down below, man. I'm trying to hear y'all opinion. In the meantime, I appreciate you for watching this video. Please make sure you leave a like if you like this video, and subscribe if you want more NBA content like this, man. Until next time, it's your boy Sal. We'll see what Houston does. We'll see who they hire. I got more content on the way. Stay up, and I'm out. Peace.